Hello everyone. Sorry for not updating for the past couple of months. A lot of stuff has happened, but I am back and hopefully with new creepypasta fanfictions for you guys. Before we get started, we'll be reading something different today, and it's a fanfiction of the Doll Maker. I have never written or read any of these stories on this channel just yet. I'll leave a link to the story in the description box below. Before we get started, please hit that like button, comment, subscribe to this channel if you guys want more creepypasta fanfictions out there. Until then, let's get started. The Doll Maker. There was once a man who made beautiful dolls of all shapes and sizes. He even made one life-size doll. Many requests of these expensive, unique dolls. And through these dolls brought the humble man a lot of money. He lived mostly with his young son, Vane. The young boy was fascinated by his father's work. The doll parts and finished doll filled the home, which was unique. They had their own beautiful personality. Vane would watch in fascination as his father painted the delicate lips upon a pale face. He wanted to be just like his father someday, to create such gorgeous work of art. One day, a rich businessman requested an ornate, life-size doll from the humble doll maker. He went by the name Greg. However, the doll maker refused to make such doll. Upon discovering Greg was a crook and wanted the doll for perverted means, Greg grew enraged at the doll maker's refusal, so enraged that he silently hired armed thugs to get rid of the doll maker. The doll maker's home was set ablaze. He sacrificed himself to save his son from the flames. Vane watched in terror and dismay that his father was burned alive before him. Tears enveloped his eyes from the heart as he watched his home turned into rubble and ashes. His sobbing over the remains of his father, surrounded by the charred remains of his once home. Of the beautiful ornate dolls, they are now melted, discarded, horrified, disfigured. The aesthetic of what they were once, now gone. Vane searched through the wreckage to find a tiny hand, trying to find anything that may survive the blaze. In the end, he can only find a life-size pink glass doll eyes. He cupped them in his hands and held them close to his heart, his messy black locks falling on his face. His eyes filled all that he had left. The child then marveled at ages 9 when he watched everything he had ever known being destroyed in the incident. Unfortunately, the terror did not end, where was not over for the child. Greg had hired his arms to return to the scene of the crime to make sure the doll maker was truly dead. They found a charred corpse once at the gate. However, they also came across the son. Not sure what to do with the child, they abducted him and took him to Greg. Greg had no real means for the child, but decided to keep him. He kept him as a replacement of the doll that he never received. He kept Vane for 3 years, treating him like a doll, an object, a plaything. With him, Vane was a prisoner. The boy couldn't take it anymore, and he began to lose himself. His mind began to deteriorate. One night, while the man loomed over Vane, with him pinned to the bed, trying to play with him, Vane decided that he didn't want to play anymore. Vane quickly grabbed a pen off the nightstand and stabbed the man through the cardiac. Blood gushed through the hole. It was splattered all over the walls, the floor. Vane had just tried to kill a man for the first time. As the body lay there suffering, Vane stole money and quickly escaped. Vane lived on the streets. He wanted to start up a family business again, to make dolls and live a life abandoned abroad, boarded up apartment in a bad part of town. With money stolen, he got parts to paint beautiful dolls. He sold them, getting more money, trending up, making more beautiful dolls, more like the dolls. Plastic and clay, porcelain no longer becoming enough to satisfy Vane. News reports, missing teen murdered, horrified scenes discovered in a town park. Emily Rogers, brutally murdered. Autopsies report Emily Rains' cause of death, lack of blood, shock, was found in a apartment sold, elegant hands stitched and grown. This concerns the corners of Emily's mouth that had been sewn into a smile, lips painted a deep red, eyes gouged out and replaced with glass ones, fake eyelashes and painted makeup. Her nails were removed and replaced with fake ones. Frozen extent remain of her face. Her head was shaven and replaced with a blue hair sewn on the top of her scalp, replacing the once blonde locks. And perhaps the most disturbing, every joint of her body was popped out of their sockets or broken. Truly a work of a psychopath killer. Extreme notice. It appears that Emily Rogers was very much alive when the killer started to mutilate her. She was alive when he had her face sewn into place, each lock of hair terribly sewn into her scalp as her eyes were gouged out. She was probably found at the park bench, placed like a doll on display. This would explain perhaps why the joints were popped out of the sockets. It would make it easier to display her wherever he placed her. By the way of killing was executed, it appeared the killer viewed his victims as a work of art. Joan Harrison, medical examiner. Emily was Vane's second murder, the first of strings. He got thrilled of creating new dolls, carving them into making them beautiful. He was now 17, never caught, still living in the abandoned house, started killing. He'd gone completely mad even though he didn't believe so. Mike described himself as a sociopath. However, he thought he was fine. He lived recently had created for himself in his own mind. He was not a killer. He was an artist who made beautiful dolls. Vane prided himself in his work, but still saw himself worthless, dirty, used goods. In an attempt to make himself beautiful as his dolls, he gouged out one of his own eyes, replaced them. The only thing left from his childhood was the glass eye, in which he stitched half a smile up his lips. However, he did not finish the job. There was too much pain. He felt like he failed in making himself beautiful, leaving scars, leaving his face mutilated by his own hands. He knows he's damaged goods. He knows he's worthless, that all he can do is to make people happy by making beautiful dolls. His work became quite popular in the news, the television broadcast displaying his artwork in public places. He loved his gain name to the public, the doll maker. Just like Daddy, right? Let me make you beautiful.